Okay, in this video, I'm going to share what you can do as an advertiser. Okay, if let's say you're running ads on Facebook, your ads were profitable in the past. Then as time goes on, it become less and less profitable. Okay, why this happened and what you can do. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to share in the timestamp you can see why do you have ad fatigue, why this thing happens. Okay, sorry, I'm going to share how you can know if you have this problem, why this happens, and how you can solve it. All right. So I'm just going to use very simple terms. Do you have ad fatigue? The definition, and I'll give an example. The definition is your cost per conversion increases significantly while the cost per thousand impression is more or less the same. Okay. With that, let's just take a look at an example. Let's say your cost per conversion, it was 10, now it's 20, so it doubled. The cost per conversion doubled, but the CPM is more or less the same. Sometimes your CPM actually is cheaper, but the cost per conversion increase. If this is true, then yes, you have ad fatigue. Okay, so I'll briefly talk about the CPM first because it's very quick. How do you lower your CPM? Usually, I don't spend too much time bothering about the CPM. The reason is because it's mostly out of our control as advertisers. There are other things you can optimize your ad for. It will be more worth your time and effort. The CPM, as long as it doesn't ridiculously overcharge you. For example, your CPM was $30. If you're targeting US, Canada traffic, $30 CPM, pretty normal. If your CPM suddenly you shoot up to $70, then something is wrong. Okay, so what affects CPM? If the ad platform doesn't like your ad campaign, sometimes we call this shadow ban. They will just make your ads very, very, very expensive just to show. Or it could be competition increase. Now, competition doesn't mean somebody is selling the same thing as you. For example, now I'm going to use an e-commerce course as an example. It doesn't mean somebody else is also selling e-commerce course. It could be other people are going to run ads during the same time to the same people you're looking to target. The best example I can give is every 3-4 years there's going to be an election. Every 4 years there's an election in United States, and during that time there are more people running ads because usually for US election they can spend a lot of money and they don't really need to break even because they're not really running a business. They just need to get elected. Okay, that being said, but it doesn't mean if I'm selling let's say if I'm doing e-commerce, I'm selling phones, doesn't mean when I mention competition increase, it doesn't mean there are more people selling phones. It just means there are more people showing ads to the same people you are targeting. Okay, if you tell me, hey Jay, if I just remove the targeting options in Facebook, would it solve the problem? Not really, because as long as they are in United States and during an election year, the CPM is going to be more expensive. Okay. Anyway, so what do I mean by cost per conversion? It can be cost per lead. Yeah, it depends on your funnel and depends on what is your bid objective. It can be your main objective is to get leads. It can be your main objective is to get appointments, sales appointments. Okay, or it can be you are doing a low ticket funnel or there's no closing involved. They will just self checkout on the website. So all of this, I consider all of this a conversion. So these are the things that I will mainly measure. Okay, so let's say a cost per lead, it was 10, now it's 20. That to me is a problem. Okay, so how do I measure this? You probably will run your campaign for a week. After a week, let's say with a reasonable budget, like $50 a day, $100 a day, after a week, you will know, okay, roughly what is going to be your cost per lead. Okay, if you're running less than $50 a day, it's a bit hard to get data. All of this, just listen from US and Canada perspective, is because I have most experience running ads to these two countries. Other countries, then you will have to run it yourself and get the number for yourself. Okay, so if your cost per lead, you've been running the ads for $50 a day for 1 week. Let's say your cost per lead was 100, and suddenly, okay, 100 is a bit high. Your cost per lead was $10. For 1 week, for 2 weeks, for 3 weeks, it's 10, 11, 12. That's fine. Suddenly, it becomes 20. And if you leave it a little longer, it becomes 25, it becomes 30. Then, yes, you have ad fatigue. Okay. So, hopefully, with that definition, with those numbers, you now know how to know if your problem is ad fatigue. Okay. So, why ad fatigue happens? Basically, the platform, for this example, Facebook, you need to know what they want, what is their main focus. Facebook has always put user experience as their number one focus. They don't care if they make money or not. That's secondary. What they are most afraid of is people stop wanting to use Facebook. Okay? So for them, positive user experience is their top priority in the whole company. How can we get people to keep using it, use more of it? How can we stop people from leaving Facebook? Okay? So that is the primary concern. So now I'll ask you, let's say if you, doesn't matter if you use Facebook or a lot, you probably will frequently use a social media, or let's say you don't use social media like me. Maybe you're watching YouTube. Okay, YouTube, I do consider it as a social media. Okay, that's a place where I consume media, or it can be some local forums. For example, I'm from Malaysia. I read local forums more than news sites. So all of these platforms, they want the same thing, which is user experience. So how do they encourage positive user experience? By having new content. So as advertisers, we just follow this rule, you'll be pretty safe because your interest aligns with, you're helping Facebook with their main priority. You're helping the platform with the number one thing they're most concerned about, which is user experience. Okay, so how do they measure user experience? It's going to be relevant content. Doesn't mean it's new then it's good. It has to be content that's people want to watch. Okay, so the content has to feel relevant to the user and always have new. So these two, there are many rules, but as long as you follow these two, you'll be pretty safe. Okay, so if you are able to do what the platform wants, you'll be rewarded with lower cost per conversion. Okay, right. So overcome ad fatigue. I'll be covering I'll share the list with you, but before this, I'll just give you the rough ideas. So let's say you are outsourcing your ads to somebody else, to your team members, or an ad agency. At least you can have a conversation with them. So how do we overcome ad fatigue with the least amount of work? Here are 3 ways you can do it. One is you make the same content. Now, why do I highlight same content in this 3? Is because your ad has performed well in the past. So there's a reason why it performs well. Okay, so how do we use the same content but make it look different? How can we make it look different, sound different? Or how can the same content but we appeal to different types of people? So here is where knowledge about different types of psychology. There are many different ways to use this. If you are familiar with DISC, or if you speak with me before, you will notice I highlight this book a lot. There are other ways to differentiate people. Let's say if you use MBTI, Myers-Briggs, the 16 personalities, then how can I say this for people who are more intuitive? How can I, if you're explaining a concept or strategy, how can you help the sensory type of people to be able to visualize stuff that is abstract? Okay, so how to say the same thing for different type of people. Now I'll go in depth how you can do this, but here's going to be the general principles. Okay, speaking of, I'm going to dive into examples, but just in case you're watching this on YouTube, if you find stuff like this helpful, just drop a like. Now, if you want more help on your ads. It can be Facebook, it can be Google. Now feel free to reach out to me. I'm pretty sure I can help you with it. Okay, so here we're going to have different. Now actually I'm blocking here, so I'm just going to uh, I'll try my best to resize myself. Whoops. Is this the okay? Change size. That's the button. All right. I'm just going to make myself as small as possible. So the first way is the easiest because let's say today you are the coach. Uh, you just need to communicate this with your design team or the video editor. Now, I assume you're running video ads. What you can do is you can change, you can use the same script, you can talk about the same thing, but record the ad in a different location. For example, you always see me with my books behind. So today, if I'm going to do paid ads for myself, I'm going to film. This is one location. Another location I can try is maybe in the forest, maybe beside the swimming pool, maybe beside the road. In the road where there are a lot of cars. That's probably a bad idea. Maybe I'm going to record the same thing, but this time is in a seminar room where I'm giving a talk. Okay, so change your location, change the background. You can use the exact same script. Okay, just change the location. Now, if you are like, Jay, that's a bit too troublesome. Okay, wear different clothes. Once again, I'm not doing this. I'm always wearing the same thing on camera. So yeah, if you're always wearing something like me, so for example, I can go and just buy a Hawaii shirt, wear different clothes, be super casual. Also works. Another way is you can hold a different object. So maybe this time, instead of your hands are not holding a lot, the first few seconds of the video, just show you're holding your own book. You can be holding a checklist. For example, I can just take a list and just show this. This is especially effective if you are using banner ads. Okay, for banner ads, this tip is very useful. So instead of holding maybe previously you were holding a checklist, this time you hold a book. Okay, I'm pretty sure you know what is hold your book. Just hold the book that you wrote. That's one way. Another way is very common. What I see is people, they will just have a whiteboard at their background or a whiteboard beside them, and they'll be pointing to what they wrote on the whiteboard. You can use the same video, but this time instead of it's always showing your face, or for example, I'm doing a screen share. This time I add B-roll footage whenever it makes sense. So if I'm talking about how to negotiate, maybe I'll show a conversation of two person. It's not me. So you can use B-roll to make your ad feel different. Okay? You can add on-screen visual aids. This is something I like to do because I can just ask the video editor to add a image, or I can add some text where I really want to emphasize a point. For example, I'm switching between chapters, and I can always show some text overlay just to visually say, hey, we are now entering another point in the video. If for some reason the video there was no subtitles and that ad performed very well, this time you can add subtitles. Okay, these are on-screen visual aids. You can also add some transitions. This can be done with any video editing software. Another thing that you can do is, let's say you film a video, it was the normal aspect ratio, normal as in 16:9. This time you can, last time your video was filmed this way, this time just record it this way. If you want a tip, if the video is going to be a bit more conversational tone instead of very formal, if you want to communicate and connect as a friend, use this aspect ratio. Okay, if you want to be a bit more formal, use this ratio. Okay, so that's a small tip. You can, what I found is you can always you can always switch the aspect ratio. Just inform your video editor to do it. They will know what they're doing. Another way is you can switch a different type, same content, but present it in a different way. So you can use an animated video. So instead of me showing my face, you can use some 2D animation, uh, some cartoons to make a point. You can do a slideshow. So my personal favorite is I like to use talking head and slideshow combination, as you can see in this video. So but if I run this as an ad, I'm going to add some B-roll, and I'm going to add some animation. Maybe I'll have a cartoon version of me. Okay. Yeah, this is another variation. Actually, these 2 points should be combined. Okay, split screen, talking head, and screen recording is exactly what you're seeing here. Another way is now this is very good if your program has been in the market for at least like 2 years. I see this more and more common. What they will do is the coach will be watching their old ad on a laptop, and they're recording it from another angle. Then the coach will just switch the laptop over and say, "Oh my god, I can't believe it has been 2 years since I launched my first ad on this program." What you're implying is this program has been around for a long time, and you can say, it's been 2 years over. How many people has enrolled? How many people has got results? Okay, but today, there's still people who don't believe this works. So you poke holes at their belief system. It's like, hey, there's so many people who have tried my program. They have gotten good results. What are you waiting for? Okay, so it's very good to demonstrate that your stuff works. Okay, so this is speak to a different personality. This is what I mentioned just now, where you can say the same thing but say it to a different audience. So just a quick one. Most of the time when we create a coaching program, we are using the angle like for e-commerce is start your business, then potentially you can make this amount of income. That is very, very direct. It's meant for the D type. If you want to appeal to the I type of people, show them why if they do this, it makes them look good. Because people who are the personality I type, which I am not, they like to they like attention. If they can get a lot of attention, uh, they it makes them very, very happy. Okay, for some reason, which I can't understand until today. I almost want the opposite. Okay, for the S type, show them how by doing this, taking this action, they are a very supportive person, because this personality type, they are very people oriented. They value their success by the relationships they build. Okay, so show them how by doing this e-commerce course, you are a good husband, wife, very, very supportive husband or wife. You're supporting the family, or let's say maybe you're targeting younger people. You can say, probably your parents are in the 50s, close to retirement. You can allow them to retire early. Okay, so that's how you run an ad for supportive person. Person type C, which yes, I am. You talk about more about the process and the data. It's going to be a lot of facts, and here's the process: step 1, step 2, step 3. Okay, which you probably when you see my stuff, that's usually how I think. So when you're presenting to them, just show it is very, very organized, and there's a very precise step. There's a very organized way of doing things. Another way you can refresh your ad is you can name drop some companies, like Amazon is doing this, Shopify is doing this, Microsoft is doing this, OpenAI, ChatGPT is doing this, something that is well known or is very, very popular currently. Another way you can use it is you can create a parody of a very, very popular ad. So one of the ad that I created in the past, I mean, it didn't perform like super well, but it was at least it's an attempt where I wanted to show that there's very, very stubborn. There are people who are very, very stubborn. So to get them to change their habits is very, very hard. Now, if I say that, it's very boring. But if I show an example of, let's say, Lord of the Rings, there's the battering ram trying to open the gates. They're trying to beat the gates. Now I can show the battering ram is how we want to change, but the door is very, very shut. Okay, we are very resistant to change. So you can use something like this to recreate it. And today with AI, this is actually very, very easy to do. Okay, or you can use some storytelling to say, hey, why that character did something and relate it to your offer. Uh, One person who does this quite well is Andrew Tate. He likes to refer to the Matrix a lot. Okay, pop culture references. If you're selling to a US and Canada audience, what will work is Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, uh, famous movie, Marvel Cinematic Universe, Iron Man, Avengers. These are things that work. Superman, Batman, superhero movies. So pop culture reference. Okay. Another way is you can address the issue from a different angle. Okay, what do I mean by this is instead of saying how to find profitable products for e-commerce, I can just change the opening of the ad from how to find profitable products for e-commerce to I can say how much can you make selling this on Amazon, and it makes people guess. Oh, okay, then we show actually it is different from what they expect. We are basically saying the same thing. 90% of the ad is the same, but we ask a different question in the beginning, it becomes a different ad. It feels like it's a different ad. Okay, so although very, very similar, the video shows the examples of the product, how profitable they are, and what is the exact process of finding them. But it feels like a totally new video. Okay, another type of video you can do is instead of showing this, you can show it's a case study. So student X started the shop. Okay, these are the first three products. Guess how much they made. Okay, so how they do this is this is all the instructions. This is the process. How they step one, they did the product research. Step two, they build their website. Step three, they fill out the product description. They take the photos. They have to upload the video. Then they start to get visitors and they do the fulfillment. Okay, so the case study. Okay, so case study. I don't want to use case study very, very early because usually this is for people who need a bit more proof, but it's good to use this once you have tried other stuff, okay, because this actually takes quite some effort to record. Okay, another way is instead of you say what your program is, you can let one of the customers or client tell the story. And if you want to do that, I give you this template. You can almost do an interview, or you can ask them these questions, and they will just say, "So, what was the problem they had before before they bought your coaching program? What's their problem? Add this, how it made them feel." Okay, this was not natural for me, but I realized after I add this, it's much more persuasive. So why they decide to take the action? Why they decide to buy the coaching program? Okay, how okay, you can switch the sequence here a little. How I found this program. Okay, why I decide to take action. Oh, okay. The sequence, both of this, it can be whichever comes first. They say, I had this problem. I always can't sell. So I decided to take action. Just to take action can be I started searching for how to sell on YouTube. It doesn't mean I have to buy the course behind me. Okay, so then I started watching some videos. Then I came across this program, and I decided to buy. It wasn't easy for me because this program we have to do. Not only we need to attend 5-7 hours of live class every week, we need to do at least one 30-minute role play. Sorry, we need to do at least 2 role plays a week. One where I'm the customer, one where I'm the seller. That's the minimum for what, 90 days? Okay, so it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. Okay, now why you want to add this is for compliance, and it makes it more believable. Okay, because it's not like you buy this program, you immediately solve all your problem. most coaching programs don't work that way. Okay, so challenges what when I implemented the program, and after the program. So let's say for me, before this, I'm not comfortable speaking to strangers on Zoom. We can forget the whole record the video thing. Before this, I almost always want to script out my videos. Now I'm more comfortable doing live videos without script like this. Okay, so transformation after I implement the program, and who do I recommend to join this program? So if I were to say it, I would say, okay, if you are an introvert who's you can deliver a service, but your main obstacle is selling, I highly recommend you join this program. Okay. Another one is use a new opening. So this is almost tied to everything I mentioned before. For videos with high retention, so maybe that for every video ad you run, there's going to be two things that I'll pay attention to. Is this video getting attention? Are people stopping and watch at least 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 25% of the video? That is one type of success. Another type of success, okay, once they start watching, how many will stick to half or at least stick to the end? Or stick to the end or at least watch half of it. So for videos who maybe they don't grab attention the most, but if you realize, oh, those who actually watch the halfway mark, they tend to watch the entire video. What I'll do is I'll just change the opening. Maybe I'll cut the first part, I'll do some editing, or I'll find a way to grab attention. Okay, so one of the way that people grab attention currently, there's a person called Tony. He reacts to a lot of American woke culture. Seems to be doing quite well. That's an example of changing the opening to get very, very high retention. Okay, story-driven angle. Can do a hero story or how I got started. Use a story to tell the instead of using a case study, use a story. Okay. Another is instead of the only one person talking in the ad, you can do a interview style. So there will be the coach and there'll be a student. So the student will be asking the coach question. So it's you can still say the same thing, but now with somebody asking the question, they are playing the role of the audience. Okay, interview format. There are people who like to watch that. Okay, reposition the offer. So instead of saying, what is your return on investment? What is going to happen if you take action? You can mention what is going to happen if they don't do anything. What we like to say is ROI is probable, maybe it can happen. It might happen, it might not happen. We don't know. But if you talk about cost of inaction, if you do not do anything, this is going to happen. Or even better, if you do not do anything, this problem will stay with you forever. Okay, doctors like to do that the most. If you don't do this operation, your head will hurt all the time. Okay, why this works is because cost of inaction is undeniable. They can't argue with you. Imagine I'm a doctor, you tell me your head, you have headache. Instead of saying if you do this operation, you might recover, I'm just gonna say if you don't do this operation, you're going to have headache for your entire life. One is more effective than the other because you cannot argue with me you don't have a headache. That's the reason why you're seeing me now, right? So I like to always mention cost of inaction more, get their attention. Once they agree, now you can talk about now what is going to happen if you take action. Okay, so focus on cost of inaction more. Hey, so highlight different parts of the program. So if you're selling a coaching program, probably it's going to be not just one thing they come here and learn from you. They're going to learn to do a few things. So for example, I just use e-commerce as an example. For everybody who's doing e-commerce, they need to do at least these 5 phases. They need to know what to sell. They need to build a website. They need to build the website is just to get the website there, knowing what, how to take photos of the products, what to write, how to sell using the website. That's another skill. They need to do that. They need to get visitors to their website, and they need to once people pay, they need to process the payment. They need to do the fulfillment. Every e-commerce, they need to do all of this. Okay, so most of the time, the ad will just mention you'll be going to learn all of this in a very brief format. If you're here to refresh your ad, now you can pick one of these and dive a bit deeper. So instead of 60 seconds or 3 minutes on cover everything, you can dive deep in one. Okay, instead of saying I can, you will learn how to do product research. Let me do product research in front of you. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to do it in front of you. Okay, instead of saying I will teach you how to build a website. You don't need to have any programming knowledge. Let me build a website in 60 seconds. Okay, you put a timer at the bottom here and just show them. Okay, you think this is going to take you weeks or months. I'm going to show you. If you know what you're doing, it just takes a few minutes, 2 minutes. Okay, so highlight different parts of the program. Another way is you can highlight the bonus. So bonus is not part of the program. So for example, for e-commerce, time management, it can be one of the bonus. So why do I like to give time management as a bonus? It's because for almost any coaching program, that's the objection. I have no time, I have no money. Okay, I have no time. Now, what if I give you a time management program or time management protocol so you can block out or you can squeeze out that extra 2 hours a day that is required for this program? Okay, now they cannot say I don't have time because we already handle that with the bonuses. So what I mean, if you're a coach, I encourage you to just speak with the closing team. Okay, or who, let assume you're doing the sales call yourself, you're doing the closing calls yourself. What are the most common objections that people are going to give? You create bonuses for that. Okay, for those who say they have no time, usually it is I don't know how to prioritize my stuff. So you should own them. Okay, for when you buy this program, you need to implement. How I'm going to make sure you do it is by having this time management program. It's a bonus. Okay, and sometimes you can even say you can have a free look period of 30 days, especially when you're selling to US and Canada. You can have a free look period for 30 days. Now, if you feel this program brings you closer to the results you want and you want to keep it for after 30 days, you can do so. If you decide this program is not suitable for you, within 30 days, you can ask for a full refund. I'm going to give it back to you. And to sweeten the deal, you can keep all of the bonuses I give you. So for example, I give you some Shopify templates, I give you some product list, I give you some let's say how to use AI to find product, how to use AI for to write, even though your English is not very good. All of this bonus training you can keep. Okay, it's for you to keep. So now your offer becomes more attractive. Okay, I always like to find the bonuses, and once you find a bonus that you realize people are buying because of the bonus, then you can create an ad to talk about the bonus. Okay, another way is you can use a different lead magnet. So for your ad, you can just change the call to action. Instead of come here and watch my webinar or watch my VSL, you can say, hey, come here and book a free call. No need to register. Or it can be just come and download. I have this new guide. Okay, if you want to, and the lead magnet should help them to get a very quick win. That's a different conversation, but you can try different lead magnets. Sometimes you can try a low ticket offer. I understand not everybody is ready to invest $10,000 on a e-commerce coaching program. I get it. Okay, what if you can come here and learn just how to do product research? Just look, I'm going to cover that. It's just going to be one Saturday morning. 3 hours. After this, you'll walk away knowing how you can source product for much cheaper than you can imagine, and it's even cheaper than AliExpress. So for anybody who is interested in doing e-commerce, sounds like a good deal. I can come and take a look. How do I know if your program is good? I can come and take a look, and hey, uh, because I'm a very skeptical person, I'm not comfortable spending 10,000. But if it's just $50, $200 just for one Saturday morning, I come and learn how to do product research. Well, the risk is much lower. Okay, so this is something to try. Uh, Along the same logic, it's going to be lower the requirement. Instead of come here, book a call, buy my 10,000 course, all of this is much easier to say yes to. Okay, now here are going to be some other stuff which is more like targeting kind of stuff, so I'm not going to cover this. But here, hopefully, I've already given you more than enough ways to refresh your ad. If you have one ad, now you have like what, 20 ways to refresh it, at least 20 ways to refresh it. Okay, so hopefully this gives you a lot of ideas, and I can't wait to hear from you about the results. Okay, by the way, thanks for watching, and if you are a client, just let me know after you watch this video. I want to hear what are your takeaways, and let's see how we can implement them. Okay, thanks.